Hey, Rick, today we had Anja Reed on here. She was phenomenal. And the great thing is her being a rising guru, she understands that education is valuable for this industry.
Yeah, she's really into education. And not that it has anything to do with real estate, but I thought she's really into the physical. You know, she has a physical trainer. She's into proper nutrition. But I thought that, along with the education and her thirst for knowledge, was really enlightening. It was really great to see.
Yeah, it's really nice to see in a younger agent. I mean, there's some people that get in and just like, oh, I just list the house, put it on for sale, and then they go. No, there's a lot more to this business, and her wanting to keep learning, and you don't see that a lot. You do see it, like I said, like we see it in the rising gurus, but there's a reason why there's rising gurus and there's just real estate agents.
Right.
So definitely you need to look forward to and listen to this whole thing and listen to Anja Reed go through her story and how she became a realtor.
Welcome to Indy's Real Estate Gurus, your ultimate guide to the dynamic world of real estate in Indiana. And I'm Rick Ripma, your hardworking mortgage guy, and I've been in real estate and mortgages for over 24 years.
And I'm Ian Arnold, a loan officer on Rick's hardworking mortgage team, and we are both with Advisors Mortgage Group. Together, we'll empower you with expert advice, market trends, and successful stories from guru realtors and local experts.
Whether you're a homeowner, investor, or pro, join us as we navigate the thriving Indy real estate market.
Now get ready to unlock the doors of success, one episode at a time.
Well, today we have a rising guru, and you're with eXp Realty, but you're on a team.
Yes.
And what's the team called?
The team is called Elite Icon Team.
Elite Icon Team.
Yes.
All right. And it's Anja.
Anja.
See, I even wrote it down with a Y so I would say it correctly. In my mind, that's what I needed, but I also did it with a J. I apologize. Anja.
Yes.
All right. Perfect. And last name is Reed.
Yes.
And you're fairly new into real estate, but you've got some experience of doing quite a few things. And I think your story getting into real estate is very interesting. So let's start back, not when you got into real estate, but even before then. Where did you grow up? You know, where were you? What have you done in your life up until real estate?
So I grew up in Hanover, Indiana.
Okay.
It's very close to Madison, Indiana, and Versailles. So a lot of the times we would spend time in Madison and Versailles as well. So it's kind of interconnected. They're small towns. It's like southeastern Indiana by the river. Every year there's a Madison Regatta.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a big deal.
Yes. Grew up there. I was like, I don't belong in a small town. I want to do something more. There's more than this. But I loved it because I remember running around. I would walk around barefoot as a kid, go in the woods and the fields everywhere.
Right.
Creeks, river, everything.
You could be outside.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I remember we would grow a lot of vegetables, homegrown, everything.
Wow.
And so I could just go into the garden, pick a tomato, and just eat it. That's one of the things I miss.
Do you still garden?
I just recently started gardening again because I finally have like a more permanent residence.
Okay.
That's ours, not like an investment property.
Okay. So you grew up in Hanover. Is that where Hanover College is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I actually thought I would go to Hanover College because I was like, oh, I'm here. It's right there. I'll probably go to this private. It's a private college.
Right.
I thought, oh, I would go there. No, I didn't, but that's okay.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you like to get away from the area you grow up in,
Oh, yes.
We see lots of that, a little bit different, but we'll see lots of agents that we talk to. It's usually their kids. Their kids didn't want anything to do with real estate, so their kids went somewhere else and did all this stuff, and guess where their kids ended up? Back in home and doing real estate, back in the same area they grew up in. So it's kind of funny how we do that.
It is funny. Actually, my family never got into real estate, so it's kind of, I'm an oddball, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. That's how you make your own path, right?
Oh, yes. And you got to, or at least try.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So you grew up in Hanover. You didn't go to Hanover College. So when you left Hanover, where'd you go? What did you do?
So when I was 14, we had to move to Versailles.
Okay.
We call it Versailles. It's actually Versailles, but we call it Versailles.
Locals call it different.
Yes. After that, I was like, you know what? I want to go to college. I want to go to the big city. I decided to go to IUPUI.
Okay. That's a little bigger than...
Yes. Yes. I could have gone to IU Bloomington, but I was like, I don't know much about Bloomington. It seems small. I don't want to go there. I want to go to Indianapolis. So I come up here for college. I'm like, gosh, everything's so big. I don't know where I'm at. I don't know how to use public transportation. I know nothing. I get lost on campus a couple of times trying to get back to my dorm because I thought I was somewhere else.
Okay.
I was very confused.
Yeah.
Eventually, I did learn the ropes, figure out where everything is, because naturally, I'm an explorer.
Okay.
That's what I did growing up. Was I explored all the trails in the woods, everything. It was my thing.
Yes.
And, yeah.
So now you got to explore the big city.
Yes, and then it got even better because in real estate, I get to see even more.
Right.
I love it. I mean, it's just, I see things that other people don't see.
Yeah.
And I can see some of the issues and the pros and cons of everything that's going on in this city.
And so when you did, you came to Indianapolis, you went to school. What did you study at IUPUI?
So my major was anthropology.
Okay.
I graduated with my BA. I thought about, I wanted to eventually become a forensic anthropologist. So I decided, okay, well, that would mean more school. I would have to get my PhD. I don't know what I'm doing. I have some bills to pay. Let's work a bit and trying to get kind of a good base level before going back to school. Funny enough, I'm here working and I'm like, oh, I don't really want to have a traditional boss or a W-2. I don't feel like that life is for me. I started thinking, well, what could I do? What am I passionate about? What can I invest my time in that allows me to have some sort of freedom? And that was real estate. Now, a lot of people get into it thinking, oh, well, you're probably just kicking back your feet, sitting on a beach somewhere, and that's not the case. This is one of those fields where you can get up working in real estate and go to bed doing real estate. It's healthier to have a break in between, though.
Yeah, it is.
But one of my problems was whatever job I would have, I would just put my heart and soul into it and just work and put all that effort into it when it's okay, well, it's not benefiting me. It's just benefiting some nameless company that probably doesn't even care about me. But at least with real estate, I could care about the clients that I meet. Even if we don't end up under contract or any of that, I get to meet so many people, try to guide them where they need to be.
Right.
And sometimes it's not meant for them to buy a house right then and there or sell their home. And at least with EXP, we're all shareholders in the company. We all have EXP stocks when we sign up to be a realtor with EXP.
Yeah, it's a good company.
Oh, yes.
They have great training.
Yes.
Yeah. So how did you decide to go to them?
So I was looking at different brokerages. I heard about Talk to Tucker. I didn't like their fee structure. I didn't like that it was brick and mortar. It seemed too stiff. I was like, well, most people are going to want to meet you at the house. They're not going to want to drive all the way to an office to meet you.
Right.
You're probably going to meet at a coffee shop closest to their location or the home they want to see. So I was like, well, let's find an online type of brokerage. And I thought EXP. So I started listening to different type of YouTube videos that covered information about EXP Realty. And That's when I decided, yeah, let's go with them. Their fee structure is great. It all makes sense. They seem more for the realtor. They have a lot of training. Let's do this.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing what you can learn on YouTube?
Oh, yes.
That amazes me.
I love it. I live on YouTube essentially. I learn random factoids. I listen to creepypastas. Along with those random factoids, I have it all like organized. So that way it gets a little interesting story time, and then it gets factoids all while I'm working.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
So you did mention that, let's be honest, the difference between what some people perceive as real estate and what it actually is. So what was your perception before you jumped in based off, or did you learn, like, what was a reality check for you when you?
So my mother-in-law is a real estate agent herself. And she also had investment properties. So I was thinking, all right, well, she seems to focus a lot on this, but she seems to have like a lot of freedom to do as she pleases. She's done very well for herself, and where if she wanted to take time off, she can. But she's kind of a workaholic. So I was thinking, all right, she made it look easy. She got into this. She made some money, and then she started making investments. All right, I could do this. I could do this. And it's taken a lot longer than I planned. But when you think of realtors, before you get your license, you're thinking, all right, well, they're probably not getting up at 9 a.m. Maybe some of them are. They probably are working past 5. They're working weekends, but they could take off whenever they please. Well, which is almost true. They kind of can, but they need to make sure they have provisions aside so that everyone is covered. So I was like, let's get into this. You can do as you please. Go see what you want to see. Make investments. Help people. And you're free. You don't have like a boss like saying, well, I wanted 10 trays of such and such, and you only made 6 when you said 6 to begin with, and now you want 10, that type of stuff. Or you don't have someone complaining because your pants are too baggy. Just silly stuff. That doesn't even matter. Which I enjoy, because in real estate, even if you're on a team, whatever, is what matters. Sticking with the law, helping your customers, and just not looking like a slob, obviously.
Yeah. Well, you find your tribe.
Yes.
That's the thing. So there are people who they need to, I'm going to exaggerate a little bit, they dress in a tux or, fine. And that's because that's who they work with, right?
Yes.
As opposed to, we've had so many different, very successful real estate agents on here, and there is not a consistency in almost anything.
No.
There's a consistency in the effort. They work. That's probably the number one thing I notice is every single successful agent works. It's like you said, the nice thing about real estate is there's flexibility.
Yes.
However, it's nowhere near it's flexible in that if today you want to run to Target, you probably can at some point in the day, but it may not be. You may not be able to do it at 11 o'clock because that's what you wanted to do, right? It could be, you got somebody calls or something else happens.
Yes.
But you do have the flexibility, which is really good. We have the same thing in the mortgage industry. We're the same way. We have a little bit more flexibility. However, when you need to be available, you still have to be available, right?
Or have some provision in place so that, questions get answered.
Yes.
Instead of just, oh, wait, I can't get a hold of my agent. All right, well, I really want to see this property. Let me just hop on Zillow, hit, schedule a tour. And that's because agents aren't, talking to their clients. They don't have anything in place to make sure their clients aren't getting left behind.
Right.
Which is very important, is educating our clients.
Yeah.
And you'll notice I say clients and customers hand in hand, because in the same thing, they're the same almost. And I feel like no matter what, you should treat them with the utmost respect that's possible. Like, you can't just say, oh, well, it's just a prospect, whatever. It might not pan out anywhere. No, you need to treat them as if they are your client. Like, you got paperwork signed. Give them that level of commitment, even if they may not commit to you, because that is your ethics and morals right there.
Yeah. And if you don't do it, somebody else will.
Yes.
And it really comes down to the type of person you are.
Yes.
Right? Some people, that's really important to them, and that's why you do that, because that's important to you.
Yes.
And so I think that's a good thing.
So if somebody is out there and they got some questions about real estate and everything, what's the best way they can get in contact with you?
So the best way to get in contact with me is to call or text 317-847-0999. And again, that is 317-847-0999.
And I gotta, how'd you get the easy 999?
So actually, this was back in college. I made a friend. She was working in a coffee shop. We got really close. And I had this stupid, dumb phone. And everyone around me in my circle was having an iPhone. I really wanted an iPhone. My then boyfriend, which is now my husband, gave me his old iPhone 3. But I needed a phone plan. So she was like, hey, come on the phone plan with me. We could split the bill. And she got that number for me. It was easy.
Yeah.
I was like, yes.
Yeah, that's a good number. And you didn't know it was going to be so valuable when you got into real estate.
No, I didn't. I love the number. I also made sure to register it so that way it doesn't come up as scam only.
Right.
It's registered.
Yep.
And a lot of agents don't do that either. Actually, a lot of people don't do that. You want to register your number, especially on the do not call registry. That way it doesn't get flagged eventually.
Yeah. And it's not easy to register, because I'm going through that now with a phone number. They changed the law recently, and now it's very difficult.
Well, that's a good
Taking
thing.
time.
That's a good thing, because if not, then people just register any random number, and then your spam calls now become, oh, this is verified, and it's spam.
It would be much better if they would wait till I got mine approved.
Oh,
Then make it harder for everybody. But to get a hold of Ian or I, go to hardworkingmortgageguys.com. That's hardworkingmortgageguys.com, or you can give us a call at 317-672-1938. It's 317-672-1938.
all right. So we're going to take a side step from real estate. We're going to have a little fun. So
Oh, okay.
what do you do when you're not selling? What do you do for fun?
All right. This is going to be crazy, but I love to work out. I am currently working with a personal trainer at fitness, and every time I say that, people think Planet Fitness. No. This is a private studio, woman-owned. No random Joe Schmo can walk in off the street and just go work out. You have to be registered with a personal trainer. And at first I'm like, oh, it's $300. It's $300 a month. Oh boy. No, it's really worth it. I enjoy it. I've gained a lot of muscle, confidence, stamina. I just love it. And I joined it because I had joined roller derby, and I was like, I need a little bit of help with like my mobility and balance and strength, because you want to be strong when you do that. So I was like, let's do it. On the roller derby side, I had started, and then I had to take a break because we were trying to pass our minimum skills requirements, and I didn't practice jumping over the cones enough. Mind you, you're jumping like about 6 inches or so, 6 to 12 inches in skates, okay? Well, when you're new to it, you kind of tense your shoulders a lot. It takes a lot to not tense your shoulders. And I hadn't gotten that far. And so my shoulders were tensed. And then I go to jump over the cones, and I swan dive. All right?
That's probably not how you're supposed to do it.
No. And
So you landed on what?
I landed on my arms, okay?
Okay.
You're thinking, oh, that wouldn't be bad. No. When your arms and shoulders are tense, it will cause a lot of issues with injuries. And so I had to take some time away to heal because for like a week I was T-Rex arms. And on top of doing roller derby, I also do pole fitness. I had to take a break from that too because, you need your arms. You need that strength. And I'm mostly back to normal. Occasionally, like my left shoulder gets a little stiff. But I keep working on my mobility and strength training. That is my key thing. So I make sure I go to my personal training session every week, once a week. Yep. And fitness is also another important thing because last year I got diagnosed with diabetes. Well, in order to not go on insulin and not stay on medication forever is you got to watch your diet, you got to exercise. And for a while I was also going to the regular gym, getting my cardio in. People were looking at me like, oh, well, you're there 2 hours almost every day, 4 or 5 times a week. Yeah. And I enjoy it. It's what I love. But it helped me lower my A1C to be healthier because if you're sick, you can't help people.
Right.
So mainly my main focus is, I guess you would say, exercise.
That's what it sounds like. Sounds like you're really into exercise.
Oh yes. No, I think she just likes hitting people on skates.
Oh,
we got to practice that a little bit, and I can't wait to go back to it. I got really busy because I was also doing a renovation on my basement, so I was just working like a crazy person, trying to get that done because I wanted a space in where I can work, have my hobbies, and everything else. I have like this section that's just for working out. And once I finish it, I'll have the TV that's meant just for like exercise type of videos and instructional videos. Because down there I have like my balance bar, I have my pole, various weights. I have like a weight training bench. I got it. It's my area. All of these components are very important to me. I love to move. And I have a tendency to just go on about like fitness and nutrition if I'm not talking about real estate. And aside from, working out, exercise, that type of stuff, I like to sew. And I don't use a machine. I do it by hand. I can't stand the machine. It's loud. There's less control. I just, hand sewing's where it's at. And, it actually came in handy because last year I got married and I hand sewed my wedding dress.
Really? Wow.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes. Oh, it took a lot of work, but it was worth it. Like, it was beautiful.
Yeah, I would think that would mean a lot because you made it yourself.
Yes, it does mean a lot. It was actually a robe à la française, which is a historical type of dress. People will kind of know that from like the Duchess if they watch that type of dress. In the end, I was like in a hurry because I was like, the day's coming. And aside from sewing, I like to learn new things, which is why I got those factoid podcasts I listen to. I'm also interested in languages as well. I did try to minor in 2 languages while I was in college. I couldn't finish getting my minors in those because they were like, you need to graduate. And so eventually I'm going to repick them up when things kind of even out.
What languages?
So in college, I had studied Japanese and Chinese.
Okay.
Yes.
Those are very different languages, if I remember correctly.
So Japanese uses kanji, and a lot of the kanji is borrowed from Chinese.
Oh, it is? Okay.
But in Chinese, you have the traditional and simplified, and some of the Japanese kanji uses the traditional Chinese characters.
So is it harder to learn 2 languages that are similar but have enough differences that it makes it it's confusing, or is it easier to learn that rather than like two very different languages?
Well, the thing is, you have to put like compartments in your brain for one language and another language, but at the same time, it's where your passion's at. If you're more passionate about one language, you're going to put all of your energy there. You're going to focus on that and not the other one. So that second language might get a little bit neglected. But one of the things I remembered was I would be taking the Japanese language test, like the quizzes and stuff. I'm like, oh gosh, I know what that character is in Chinese, but I can't remember what it is in Japanese. Like, come on now.
But that's still impressive to learn.
Yes, and I staggered it. It wasn't like at the exactly same time. I waited like about 2 to 3 years into Chinese before starting Japanese. The Chinese classes I started that because I couldn't get into Japanese. It was full. The classes were full. It's very popular. Outside of that, I also started to learn a little bit of Korean because I met a friend of mine and he was like, oh, I want to teach you. And I'm like, yeah, I'm interested. And I shouldn't have tried to do too much because, see, with Korean, it's easy to learn the writing system. They have a high literacy rate because it's an easy system to learn.
Okay.
But the pronunciation, it makes me think of Chinese and Japanese birthed a child, and there it is.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They both have some, ties with it from what I can see. I'm not a professional linguist, but just seeing it is like, oh, yeah, I see it. Honestly, I want to go back, restudy it, because I got to third year Chinese, business Chinese, and I got to about third year Japanese. I want to restudy it because it's just what I love.
Yeah. So what would you say, getting back more into real estate, what would you say your superpower or superpowers are?
I guess, talking to clients. I'm really good at it. I love educating them. So when I meet someone, I'm very good at educating the steps on what they need to do, especially if they're a first-time home buyer or if it's been a while. And going through the process, kind of getting them started.
So I think there's just another one seems to be you have a real appetite to learn.
Yes. Oh, that's another thing. With real estate, you're always learning something. There's always something new and a different way to do something. And all of this, in the end, benefits the clients. The more you learn, the more skills you get, more anything, resources, it's beneficial.
Yes.
Anyone just starting out in real estate, the key thing, learn, remember, take notes, keep these resources, everything you acquire benefits you, and not only you, your future clients or current clients.
Yeah, I'll go beyond that. It's actually good for everything in your life.
Yes.
The more you educate yourself, the more you learn, whether it's different languages or history or whatever it happens to be, it matters in your life and it improves your life. In my opinion, it improves your life greatly by being a learner. And that sounds like exactly what you are as a learner.
Yes, at the heart of it, I am a learner. Actually, it was funny. When I was in high school, I said, you know what? I never want, if I go to college, I never want to leave college. I want to stay and keep learning. And it's like, no, they wouldn't allow you to do that. Well,
That's what it sounded like. They wouldn't allow you to do that.
No, if I had it my way, I would always be there. But at the same time, when you're in college, it's like being a fake adult. You don't learn how to manage in the real world because your life is university. It's all about the campus center. It's not like, you're out in the real world.
Right.
So you're a little bit sheltered.
Yeah. And I think it's one of the things that's a misnomer to a lot of people is that when you finish school doesn't mean you stop.
No,
right?
no,
And-
you don't stop.
And like you said, you can go on YouTube and you learn all kinds of things. Now you got to be careful, make sure it's accurate things
Yes.
that you're learning. But it is amazing, and it's not just YouTube. You can go online, and there are so many things. There's something called Masterclass, and the people they have on it. I mean, it's like Ron Howard teaching you how to be a director on TV. You know, how could you have a better teacher, right? You know who Ron Howard is?
No, but I probably have heard your name.
He was on Happy Days, and he was on Andy Griffith. He was a little boy on Andy Griffith.
Oh, he was a little boy.
Yes,
he was Andy.
Yeah, he's the little boy.
That show was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. He's older now.
Oh.
And much taller.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gosh, that show was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, a lot of people, they don't, after high school or whatever, they don't continue to learn. Or maybe they weren't even learning in high school, and so they didn't get the joys of educating themselves and
Right.
finding new information and broadening, just thinking about the future, growth.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because there's a lot of knowledge out there. You can learn so many things. I'm actually starting to learn how to woodwork just because, well, it came down to the construction of my basement and redesigning my house. I was like, I don't like any of this furniture. If it's cheap, well, okay, cheap, I'm saying like $200. Okay, to some that might be expensive, but the quality sucks. And even if you go more expensive, like maybe like say a $500 like for like a bed frame for example, it's still crap. Why would I want to pay that much for crap? I'd rather just do it myself. Because I can't, you know, if I got the furniture I really want, oof, they're expensive. They're really good quality handmade furniture. It could go up to $4,000.
Oh, I know.
Yes.
It can get very expensive.
So I was like, you know what? Gonna have to learn how to do this myself then.
Yeah.
So it's been a journey. It's been interesting working with power tools. So I had to learn that. Actually,
She she has all her fingers.
Yes.
So she's done good so far.
Yes.
So far, you're doing good.
Well, you didn't ask about her toes, so
Well,
she's
got her
down
toes
to
off.
8 there.
Yeah, she cut her toes off. She's doing something wrong.
Oh man, actually, I cut the power cord for the table saw.
Well, you didn't hurt yourself.
Yeah, I didn't
See?
hurt
There
myself.
you
I
go.
hurt the table saw.
Yeah.
I'm so mad about it too because I'm trying to do these miter cuts, which are like 45-degree cuts. Not every power tool is capable of making those cuts perfectly, especially if you're a beginner. When you're a beginner, you want like the easiest tools to use. Practical, don't spend too much on the tools either, because if you break it, at least it was only $14.
Yeah. You hope you don't break it, though.
Oh, yes,
I mean,
yes. And then
yeah.
I have to borrow my husband's tools, and he gets nervous.
Now, is he a woodworker?
No, actually, he did home renovations for the investment properties his mother had.
Okay, so he's handy.
Yes, and he was doing that since he was 16, thereabouts. And he just had a birthday, so he's 32 now.
Okay, young guy.
Sometimes it doesn't feel like it.
Well, it all depends on your perspective. To me, he's a young guy.
Oh, yes, yes.
He's just a little older than my youngest son.
Oh, wow.
My youngest son's 30. So, yeah.
Oh,
Rick's like 104, so
No, I'm twice as old as her husband.
Well, be thankful that you're, up, moving, working. You're pretty, from what I can see, you're pretty healthy.
Yeah, I work out like you do. I work out a lot.
Yeah.
The exercise in general is important for everybody, especially for your professional life, especially for learning new things, because if you can't learn new things, what's the point of it all?
Yeah.
In your career, especially those with, educational type of career-driven jobs.
Yeah. I was reading where it said that energy level is more important than intelligence for becoming successful. And if you think about it, you could be the smartest person in the world. If you have no energy, it doesn't matter. You can't do anything.
Yeah.
You got to have the energy.
Yeah.
And one of the ways to get energy is you work out.
Yes.
Yeah. So you...
and eat healthy too. Like if you're eating the stuff that you shouldn't be eating, it can make you very sluggish too. And
right.
No one wants to. Okay, as a realtor, we go into various houses, and sometimes there's a lot of stairs. All right, and you might be seeing 10 homes that day that have a lot of stairs, so you better be in shape. Because they don't want to hear you going, I just finally made it up here, unless you got that level of camaraderie with that person, then that's a different story. And sometimes you could get really close to your clients and where they almost feel like family, which I love. I really do love when I meet those types of folks. They're real. Love it. Actually, I helped a lady that way. She had like a bad knee. And I guess she didn't move a lot. Well, we would see a lot of homes. And she's like, I'm getting better at these stairs. It was helping her out. Yeah.
Yes, that's because what I have learned is because I lost a lot of mobility. And then I started doing the right things. And I got all the mobility back. I told my wife at one point, I said, we're probably going to have to sell the house because I'm having trouble climbing the stairs. Now, I can walk up and down the stairs, no problem. And it's because I stretch and because I work out.
Yes.
And I lost some weight.
Yes.
Those things. But it matters. Your health matters. And it's an easy thing to put off, but it's not a good thing to put off.
Yeah, it's definitely not a good thing to put off. Especially, it's getting worse for the youth because they're starting to just be like, whatever. Well, what are you going to do when you're 40? What are you going to do?
It's hard to see that, though.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're a young 20-something, I guess you don't exactly see it. I mean, I remember when I was 20, I didn't really think about that. I was like, yeah, I'm young.
Right. Yeah,
Let's
you feel
have
good.
fun.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So I want you to stay in shape. I want you to walk up 1,000 stairs, maybe 1,001. But what's the best way somebody can get in touch with you if they want to either buy or sell their home?
The best way to get in touch with me is to call or text 317-847-0999. And again, that's 317-847-0999.
You still love that phone number, don't you?
Makes it nice and easy.
0999. And to get a hold of Ian or I, you can go to hardworkingmortgageguys.com. That's hardworkingmortgageguys.com. Or you can give us a call at 317-672-1938. It's 317-672-1938.
See, if you would have had if we got an easy number like that, 0001 or something, you would never have an issue with our phone number.
Well, you know what? I have confidence in myself that I would still have an issue once in a while remembering the number.
That's probably true.
You know why? Because I never call myself. So how do you remember your own number? Nobody else. You look it up on your phone. You hit the button.
I will say that is one thing. Because we have to take sometimes references in people's phone numbers and work numbers. Back in the day, everybody had every number memorized. Click, click, click.
Yeah.
Nowadays, because you have the address book in your phone, nobody knows anybody's number.
No.
The only numbers I know is like my dad's, mine, and my husband's. Those are the only three.
Yep. I think I only know 2 off the hand, not count my own, is my wife's and my parents'. Other than that, it's in my phone.
Oh, yes, yes.
But my wife's one number off, one number different than mine, so I always remember hers.
Or you just...
And it's also who I call the most.
I hope so.
Oh, yes. I even remember like my first cell phone number. It was a really easy number because the last 4 digits was 2412.
Mine was 9002. When I grew up, that was the last 4 digits of our phone number, 9002.
I've had my same one since my cell phone since the get-go. Never changed my number.
I'm talking about when I was growing up when it was a landline.
Yeah, but there was only
they didn't even know what cell phones were at that time.
Yeah, but when you got your phone, there was only 3 phones in the whole entire world. So your phone number is probably 1 or 2.
No. It was, the last 4 were 9002. Now, I knew a guy who was one of the first people to have a cell phone back when they had, a car phone where they had a box and you had to put it in. And they were actually party phones. So I don't know if you've ever heard of Dick the Bruiser. He was a wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
I have not him.
Okay, Dick the Bruiser and he were the first two people in Indiana to have the car phone, and so they had a party line. So he'd get calls from for Dick the Bruiser, and they'd get calls for him. So anyway, it's amazing how much it's changed.
Yeah.
Oh yes, like once I was calling someone, and there are people out there who still have home phones.
It's getting fewer and fewer, but yes.
It just shocks me because I'm like, oh, it's such an outdated thing. It's a bill that you could be cutting out, and like, why? You can't do much with that.
What is it? I've been doing this for a while, but before then I did car sales and I did the applications. And it's funny is some banks still wanted a home phone, and I'm like look, younger people don't have home phones. Older people have home phones. I mean, I don't have a home phone, and I have 2 young kids. I mean, maybe when they get older and I leave them at home, I might get one. But even there, I'm questionable. I'm like, we don't need a home phone. It's just, I'd never use it.
I mean, no, it's not needed in this day and age. My family got rid of the home phone, like, I think it was like 2012. I was still a kid. So in order for me to call and text my friends, I would borrow my mom's cell phone. So it's partially mine and hers. But the home phones, no.
We got rid of our home phone when the only calls we ever got on it were sales calls. Nobody ever called us. And what they'd always do is call your cell phone first. If it was family, they call your cell phone first. If you didn't answer, they'd call your home phone. So the only other calls you ever got on your home phone at that point in time was people who wanted to sell you something. So we just got rid of it. I was okay with it. It took me a long time to convince my wife we didn't need it. But anyway, we don't need to talk more about phones. I know you got a
Yes.
You got a question.
I got a couple questions.
So
yes.
My first one is we've all had new jobs and we've all made mistakes.
Yes.
I want to hear about one lesson that you have learned.
Make sure when you're putting in the address, you put it in correctly with all the letters. If it's a west, you make sure you put west. Okay? You verify that you put in that right address before you leave wherever you're leaving from. Or you'll end up somewhere else, or you might misinform a client about a location, and then they're like, no, I don't want to see it, when you got the address wrong.
Yep. Sounds like there's a story there. We'd like to hear the story there. What's behind that great advice?
All right, so I actually have 2, but one of them, I was showing this one lady multiple homes. I'm getting ready to meet her. She knows I'm coming from a different showing. I think I have the right address in, and I go there. I'm like thinking, wow, we're getting really close to my home. Oh, no, she's not gonna like this neighborhood. This is not her type. Wait a second, this doesn't look like the house I'm supposed to be at. So I double checked. No, but somehow when I hit go for the GPS on my phone, mind you, I have an iPhone, it took me somewhere else. And mind you, I had sent this address to this girl ages ago, but she wasn't originally interested in the home. Why did it show up there? I don't know. And I had to call her saying, hey, I showed up at the wrong address. I will be there soon, maybe about like 15 minutes. But, those 15 minutes, those are precious minutes. And there I am looking like a fool, gone to the wrong address. But, and it's happened to clients too. I had one then where they're like, we're going to be like 30 minutes late because we went the wrong direction. So we lost 30 minutes of time.
Right.
So always verify, double check that you are going in the right direction.
Yes, I had a personal experience. We did the same thing. So my address at home, when we bought our house, ends in drive, and then in the last part is east. And most people will they'll do your address and they'll just drive. All right, and just thinking it's either drive, lane, place. That always ends the place. Well, I had relatives come from Georgia. They come in, they're like, I don't see your house, and this looks like a wrong neighborhood. And I'm like, where do you mean? And they're like, well, these houses look like they're probably multi-million-dollar homes. Oh. And I'm like, yeah, I don't live in one of those. But they didn't put the east at the very end of it. So luckily that happened early in our years. So then we always, even like we give people the address or whatnot. Hey, reminder, east at the end. You must have that in there or you'll go to a completely wrong area.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. At least it's not MapQuest.
Yeah. So I do have one other question.
Yes.
All right. So we do the question of the week. We ask every single person, what was your first car?
My first car was a 1999 Ford Taurus. I love that thing until I wrecked it.
Why would you wreck your car?
Well, I was a bit young. I think it was 22, 23, heading up to Chicago. It's in March. There's snow. I'm excited because I'm going to like the King Spa Sauna. I love that place. I'm excited for it. We take a detour because of all the snow, thinking, oh, that'll be faster. And then I go over some railroad tracks, lose control. Poor car. She didn't deserve that. But luckily, I got a new car the next day.
Was the accident in Chicago or here?
It was in, oh gosh. It was in Indiana.
Okay, it's on the way.
It was about an hour and a half away from here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was quite a drive.
Yeah.
And
well, snow can cause problems.
Oh, yeah. So now, like, whenever it's rainy, snowy, I drive carefully. I don't care if I got an appointment. Leave a bit early. There's no need to rush and cause accidents.
Or be in an accident. You don't want to be in an accident.
And these days, a lot of people drive crazy. I drive to a lot of homes and witness some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So I want you to have more stories, but good stories. So again, last time I'm going to ask you, what's the best way somebody can get a hold of you to talk real estate?
All right. The best way to get a hold of me is to call or text 317-847-0999. And again, that is 317-847-0999.
And to get a hold of Ian or I, go to hardworkingmortgageguys.com. That's hardworkingmortgageguys.com. Or you can give us a call at 317-6... What did it... You see, you messed me up. 672-1938. See, that's what you did. You did that to me on purpose. 317-672-1938. And please follow us for more Indy's Real Estate Gurus.
And reminder, if you're looking to... now you're messing me up because I'm laughing at you.
Perfect.
Whether you're looking to buy, sell, refinance, or you have any friends, family, coworkers that are, please let us know. We'd be more than happy to help you. Anja, thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure having you on our show, and I love listening to a lot of your stories.
Oh, it's no problem. I have a lot of stories.
Branch NMLS number 33041. Rick Ripma's NMLS number 664589. Ian Arnold NMLS number is 1995469. Equal housing opportunity. Some restrictions apply.